Hello and welcome back, everybody. So today I thought I would do like a fun video because my life is stressful right now. It's very stressful. And yeah, so what today's video is about like books that I would like to see as movies or TV series. I want to do a video later on or another time where it's books that I would like to see animated, because animation is actually my favorite medium when it comes to watching television or movies. I just really love animation. But for this particular video, I wanted to focus on live action, since I know I'm in the minority when it comes to adults who enjoy animation. And from what I've gathered, a lot of fantasy fans prefer live action. I just think animation is better. So with that said, I have 10 books or series here that I think would be really fun as TV series or movies. I'll explain which one I think fits better for that idea when I get to it. And yeah, these are just my opinions. I also, I'm very lenient with adaptations, so even if some of these have to take some liberties in how they're going to be done, I would be fine with that as long as they don't get too crazy. But yeah, anyways, let's just start this already. So the first one on this list is the Arc of a Scythe series by Neil Shusterman. I just think this would be such a really cool trilogy movie, each movie based on each book, and I just think it would be really interesting because the concept itself is very interesting. A world where people have learned how to not die anymore, and they now have to have this society of people to kill people off. And there's this overseeing AI entity that's kind of running everything, and just seeing how it all plays out. It's such a really interesting concept, and I think a lot of just your regular people who don't read on a regular basis, I think a lot of people would find it very interesting, especially for the sci-fi people, because we have to admit there's really not a lot of sci-fi movies anymore besides Star Wars. And I just think that this would be such an interesting concept brought to life. And then I feel, because in the book world, the ending of the final book, it's very you love it or hate it kind of thing. And I would just love to see a bigger audience on that, because I'm one of the people who loved the ending. I liked the way it ended, but it has one of those very, very divisive endings. I can't remember the correct word, but one of those endings where you either love it or you hate it. But I think it would just be such fun to watch on the big screen. It's such a cool concept. The next one that I have is The Dragon Riders of Pern. Now, yes, are there about 26 books in the series? Yes, there is. Is that asking a lot? Yes. Would I be happy if they were all made? Yes. But if we could only pick a set, a part of the Pern series, I think the Harper Hall trilogy would be the best one to do, because it is her most well recognized and well loved. From what I have gathered, a lot of people who talk about the Pern series in general, they talk about the Harper Hall trilogy, it being their introduction to the world, or it being the only thing that they've read in the world. And it's also really good coming of age kind of story too, because you follow Meneley, who's a teenager, and she finds all these fire lizards, and then each book kind of progresses her story a little bit more. And then the third one, you get to progress Pimer's story. You don't even have to do the whole trilogy. The first two books are a pretty good solid story, because the third one follows Pimer more. It all does connect together, but still, I think it would just be really fun. But also, if they decide to go the route of doing the Dragon Riders of Pern, because dragons are super popular right now, we all love dragons, and Anne had her own vision of the dragons, as well as the little fire lizards. Oh god, we all love those. Okay. But if they were to go the other route and just do the beginning of the series, I'm gonna tell you right now that if Fourth Wing got a series or a movie before Pern, I would be really mad, because a lot of the things that she did in Fourth Wing, Anne did first. Just saying. Just saying. The next one I got on here is another that I think would do really good as a movie trilogy, if done right, and that is the Raya Revelations. Now, I've only read 3 books out of the 6 so far, but I really love the classic fantasy feel of this, and I really feel that it would be pretty easy to bring to the big screen without having to change too much of the story, because we know how Hollywood likes to do that. But it's such a very simple, classic sword and sorcery kind of fantasy that I don't really see them needing to change a whole lot. Granted, I've only read 3 of the three of the books so far, and considering this is books 1 and 2, like I feel like they could kind of do that with like the movies if they were to combine 2 books per movie to get a trilogy. I think that would be kind of cool. But also I think a lot of people would really love Hadrian and Royce and their friendship, their brotherhood, their camaraderie. I mean, you'd get the girlies out there who would probably ship them, but that's a different conversation. But it would just be like really fun, and I think a lot of people would really enjoy it just for like that good classic fantasy vibe. Ymir by Rich Larson is the next one on this list, and I actually read this one last year. This is another sci-fi one because, again, I think we just need more sci-fi movies, or maybe I just don't watch enough television to know if there is a lot still. But considering we've actually already seen this author's work in a TV series, so if you guys have watched Love, Death and Robots season 2, he wrote the episode Ice. So that's why I'm saying we're already familiar with this author's writing for the big screen, and I think this could translate really well to a movie, just a singular movie. That's all it needs to be. Nothing more. We don't need to expand it. Just one good singular movie. And I think it would do really, really good. And it would be, it's definitely darker, grimmer and everything. And it's more like gritty and depressing. But I'm okay with that. I just really loved it and everything. And honestly, it would also give us a chance to have a more silent protagonist, because while the protagonist can talk, he prefers not to because he has a fake lower jaw because he lost it. It's on the back of the book. It's on the back of the book. It's not a spoiler. But I just think it would be really intriguing. It would just be like really dark and depressing, and I would really like to enjoy that. And it would just, like I said, if you've watched Love, Death and Robots, you're already familiar with how this author kind of tells their story. So it would be kind of interesting seeing their stuff brought in another light, just like a fuller story, and it being with real people. The next that I have on here could work maybe either as a movie or a TV series. It depends on who would be the one picking it up and how they would want to do it. But The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, I really love that. There's not a whole lot of YA that I love, and this is one of them. And with the content, you've got like Arthurian magic, you've got tarot magic, you've got the friendship between the group of people, the 3 boys and the girl. Then you've got like the queer discovery on top of that. It's just so interesting. It's so good. I really loved this. I do think the audiobook sold me a lot more on it too. Not gonna lie. If they could find a way to get the narrator from the audiobooks to do like an over narration of the show or whatever, I think that would be amazing. Because his voice is magic. But I just think it would be very interesting because it knows what itself is, and I think it tells the story really well. And I like the way that Stiefvater like worked her characters in the story and how they grew and changed and like discovered themselves while also discovering all of this magic that was going on as well. Very interesting series, and I think a lot of people will get a kick out of it with like the magical aspects. Okay, the next one I have is one I don't actually own at the moment, but eventually I will. And that is for a horror movie. And I think this would go over really well. And that is Boys of the Valley by Philip Fracassi. Like, I could just see this being like an amazing horror movie. Like, it involves children, and if I remember correctly, like Children of the Corn is like a really big popular horror movie. Don't quote me on that. Like, I'm still new to horror in general, and I don't really watch a lot of horror movies. But I just really feel like this would be such an amazing movie, and like a lot of people would enjoy it. Like, people who really, really enjoy horror, like I really think those who watch the movie versions would really like it. Like, when I told my sister is a big horror fan, and when I told her about it, she was like, that would make a really cool movie. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Like, it's got such a good story. A bunch of orphan boys living in a monastery, and a demonic force shows up, and then evil things start happening, and death and craziness goes all over the place. Like, it's such a cool, it's so good. If you guys haven't read the book, you guys should read the book. But I think it would make such a good like horror movie, and it fits so well in that genre of horror movies that focus around children, which I've noticed is pretty popular. So I think it's a great choice. Okay, the next one is another one that I don't own it. Well, I do own two. I own two arcs of this one. But that would be the October Day series by Shannon McGuire. This would make such a good TV show. You get the magic, you get all the different fae creatures and all the different mythology that's brought into it. You get these amazing, compelling storylines that involve like found family and like finding who your new found family is, and this girl October, Toby, like coming back into the world after having been turned into a fish for a long period of time, and like readjusting and getting to be a part of this world again, while also solving these different mysteries. And I really think like a good like detective mystery kind of show are pretty popular right now. So I do think that like a mystery detective series set within this magical, fantastical world would be really interesting. I think a lot of people would get a lot of kick out of it. And then maybe I could see my dream couple come to life. Just saying. I haven't finished the series yet. Don't let anybody spoil it for me. Moving on. This next one is also for a TV series that I think would be really good, and it's just because of the way the books are done. And that would be the Penrick and Desdemona series by Lois McMaster Bujold. Because these books are done in a very episodic way, I think it would make a really good TV show. Like hour-long episodes, each pertaining to a book, because they're all novella sized. Like this is 3 books. That's 3 books, okay? So I think it would be really good as like a limited TV series kind of thing. 1 season, 13 episodes, because that's how many books are currently out in it. I don't know if she has plans for more, but it would just be really good. Plus, I think people would get a kick out of following a main character who has 9 demon ladies, a horse, and a lion living in his head, solving mysteries, because that is the other thing. That's one of the things I actually never talk about when I talk about this series. Is the fact that the point of each book is that he's solving a mystery of some sort. And so again, a very mystery-based series where each episode is pertaining to a particular book, and I think it would just be perfect, and I would love to see the perfect person cast for Penrick. I don't know who that would be, but it would have to be someone really, really good. And of course, this list would not be complete without my girl Patricia A. McKillop, okay? You guys, if you've been here long enough, you should have known that she was going to pop up on this list, okay? I strongly feel her books, because each one is a standalone on its own, so you could pick any one of them. Any one of these books you can pick and turn it into a movie, and I think if it's done in a similar vein to how like Labyrinth was done, not so much with like the puppets and everything, but like the vibe that Labyrinth gives off, I think you could pull the same thing off with her books, only not so, because like Labyrinth does have that little bit of a darker tone to it. This is more of like the uplifting kind of fairy tale kind of feel to it, and I just really feel like her movies would like really call to the fairy tale fantastical kind of girls, and the girls who just love that kind of like whimsical, fantastical, sweet kind of fantasy. And I just see them being just like really loved and beloved. Maybe like even you could probably throw it in like the same vein of like Princess Bride, just without the comedy. Like it's just very well loved by like a very specific kind of like storybook fairy tale kind of fan. And I just feel like all of her books really hit that. And aside from the Riddlemaster of Head, which is a trilogy, which you could turn that into a pretty interesting movie, I think all of her standalones would work really, really well as just a simple standalone movie. And I, for one, would be first in line to see them if they ever decided to adapt any of these. So, list is not complete without my girl. And then the last one on this list, that would be my favorite book of like all time, Kings of the Wild. This would be fantastic movie. Okay, it really would. Okay, and like the beauty about it is that you wouldn't be able to hire somebody like Timothy Chalamet. You would not. You would not. Why? Because these are old men. These are old guys getting back together, getting the band back together to go save someone's daughter. Like, I feel like you would have to have like the old action stars, not like the suit, not like an older man would definitely have to play these, but like I feel like it would give like life to like those old action stars again. That kind of vibe. And then I think this would appeal to a lot of like general audience because like you've got the humor, you've got the fantasy, you've got the old men coming back together to try and relive their glory days while saving someone, and then you've got the music, like the way so much of this is inspired by music from the big hair bands. Like, you could use so much of that music like in the movie and it would be so cool. It would be just the coolest thing. And then we'd have honestly the funnest like wizard on TV, Moog, because bless his little soul, he be trying and it doesn't always work out, and I think it's hilarious. So I think this would be such a fun movie to do, and I really do think it would reach a lot of audiences, and a lot of people in general would just love it so much. That is everything that I have for this video. If you guys disagree with me, that's your problem. You're welcome to tell me you disagree, but I mean, these are my wishes, okay? These are what I would like to see as movies or TV series. But I would love to hear your thoughts on what you think would make a good movie or TV series. So drop your comments down below and like, subscribe, and all those great things, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.